Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Allison and today I'm sharing with you a new scrapbooking layout. It's a mixed media layout and I created it for a challenge that is happening over at Scrapbook Nerd this weekend for World Card Making Day. And by the way, happy World Card Making Day. I am not a card maker. I have made cards in the past, but it is not where my passion lies. So I created a scrapbook. Layout, I mean. And my challenge for the World Card Making Day online crop that's happening over at Scrapbook Nerd is to use shapes. So I'm beginning with some pattern paper from Photo Play's Hanging With My Gnomies. No, it's not Hanging With My Gnomies, it's Crafting With My Gnomies. And I really love this plaid pattern paper. It's so pretty. And I thought that it would work well for the layout that I wanted to create. I also used the B side of that pattern paper as well, just to create another little border underneath the plaid paper. The tab that you see that I just adhered to the layout is actually from Pink Fresh Studio. And the color was bang on perfect to coordinate with this layout, so I decided to use it as well. I did add some mixed media in the background. I had mentioned that before. I used a mini mister that I had in my stash with some Glacier re-inker in it, ink, and I sprayed that in the background and then layered the paper all over top of it. I knew that I wanted it to stick out beyond where the paper was going to be. So I sprayed the mist over the majority of my base and layered everything over top. You may have noticed at the beginning of the video that there was a sketch as well. My inspiration for this layout came from 30 Days of Sketches, this last go around that Christy hosted. I'm not entirely sure what day it is. I'm going to have to go back and check it out. It was near the end though. It just ended like yesterday. And I was very loosely following along and playing. And this sketch really inspired me. So I used that sketch. As part of the sketch, there was a strip of photos. I printed my own photos and trimmed them down to 2 by 2 inches. I matted them to white cardstock to create my own photo strip, and then I added some close to my heart toffee cardstock behind it, also in a strip, but it's a little bit narrower and shorter than the photo strip that I created. Glued them together and adhered them so that they straddled the pattern paper and the tag that I added. Oh, I think I said tab earlier. I meant tag. There are also some border strips that I added underneath the photo strip as well. You'll see them better in the close-ups at the end of the video. I was just working on my title. This is where my shapes comes in. I die cut hearts and layered them in various places around the layout, mostly focused on or centered around the photo strip. I did stamp the hearts as well, just to give them a little bit more presence. After I cut them, they were cut from white cardstock. I kind of felt like they were too plain and they needed a little bit more presence. So I used Sea Glass ink from Close to My Heart. It's a retired color now, but it's very similar to mint, which mint is everything. And I also used a stamp that I had in my stash, which is also close to my heart. So I stamped on all 3 of those white hearts, and then the largest of the hearts, the title is layered over. I cut the title with my Cricut as well. I did have some stickers in my stash, or one in particular that said this, and I really liked it, but the font was way too small. So to get around that, I die cut my title and carried on with my layout. I added a sticker from the Crafting With My Gnomies sticker sheet as well, and that was layered over the heart but beneath the title as well. Next comes my journaling. I just have a couple lines of journaling this time. I created my own journaling strips by using a pencil and straight edge ruler. And then I wrote my journaling in between those lines, fussy cut them out, and then adhered them to my layout. I used liquid glue to attach them just to be sure they don't go anywhere. Lastly, I am adding just a couple more hearts. I kind of struggled with where I was going to put these last two hearts. I wanted them up closer to the bigger heart, but I also knew that I wanted to add journaling to that area of the layout as well. So I decided to wait until the end after I had the title adhered, or not the title, my journaling adhered. And once that was done, it was a no-brainer where the hearts were going to go. It just seemed to fall into place. Lastly, I die cut this little tab from my Cricut. I used my Cricut to do that. I did have some tabs in sticker sheets in my stash, but none of them really coordinated with the colors of this collection. So I decided not to use them and die cut a tab. The date got added to that. And I'm adding some splatter with sea glass. Actually, I don't have sea glass re-inker, so I used mint re-inker. To do this, I just drop some of the ink directly onto my all-purpose mat, use a small paintbrush, dip it in there. I don't dilute it with water at all, and flick it over the paper. Just in that way, it adds a little bit more depth to the mixed media in the background. It's really hard to see on the screen right now, but you know that it is there because you saw it at the beginning of the video, and it doesn't show up very well in the close-ups either. But believe me when I say that there is mixed media in the background. It is there. I added just some Nuvo drops in I don't really know what color it is. It's translucent, and in the bottle it appears a lot more blue than it actually is, but it actually coordinates really well with all the teals and mints that I have happening in this layout. I'm adding just a couple of Tim Holtz phrase stickers. Some of them are going to be trimmed in half because they're too long so that they fit in the places that I want to add them. And with that, this layout is done. I do have close-ups coming up, so feel free to stick around for that. And I invite you as well to join us over in the Scrapbook Nerd friends group over on Facebook. I will leave the link in the description box down below. So if you want to play along for World Card Making Day, especially if you're a card maker, you'll be able to find us on Facebook. If you play along, there are prizes to be won. You will have until October 9th, I do believe, to get your submissions in. And just playing along will enter you into the draw for fantastic prizes from Scrapbook Nerd. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I hope this layout inspired you, and I hope you've been inspired to maybe play along with our online crop. I will be back again soon with more creative inspiration. Bye, friends.